Chris Shandeck, CY interview covering Las Vegas and the world. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button below to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with everything we have going on here at CY interview in Las Vegas. We greatly appreciate your support. So to begin tonight, we're going to continue our series about revisiting some of the famous stars, celebrities from Hollywood and beyond we have met and CY interviewed here on CY Interview. And today we're going to talk about music sensation Paul Abdul, who I believe is one of the most underrated music stars of the last 30, 40 years. There is no denying that Paul Abdul is the best dancer in pop music over the last 30 or 40 years as well. People can say whatever they want. She trained Janet Jackson for choreography for, I believe, a music tour back in the day. And the reality of what it comes down to at the end of the day is that she is just one of the greatest. We had a chance to see one interview Paula Abdul when she had her residency here in Las Vegas at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino back in 2019. The name of the residency was Forever Your Girl, of course, which is one of Paula Abdul's most famous songs. And what we had an opportunity to do was we had an opportunity to see the show, which was great. I know that Wayne Newton was there, Mr. Las Vegas, the night of the opening, and we were there. And you really got a chance to go through Paula Abdul's entire life, many of her hit music songs, what it took to make the hit Straight Up and how that all came to fruition, what it took for her to have a music career and to break into the industry and what she had to do and how her sales and trajectory far exceeded what the record label at the time thought of her. So, I think that Paula Abdul was somebody in her music career and in her entertainment career that has never taken anything for granted. And I think that's why she comes off, and I believe she was in the time I spent with her, just a very nice and welcoming and engaging person. Hey, how are you doing? Gives you a hug, all that kind of stuff. So to begin, the show was great in 2019. It was really a great chance to see and reflect upon her career, obviously. And then the next day, there was a media tour for a couple of media outlets here in Las Vegas and in the mainstream. And CY Interview was one of those media outlets which got a chance to interview Paula Abdul and ask her a bunch of different questions about her residency and other topics, including working with the great Gene Kelly, for example. So funny enough, in 2020 at the Power of Love Gala at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Paula Abdul was one of the celebrities on the red carpet, and we had a chance to meet her again and spend a couple of minutes with her. Hopefully Paula will come back to Las Vegas again. I think she could still do another residency, another show, another short-term show. People like her. Her shows are very fun, full of high energy. Really enjoyed that. And if you haven't, to start with Paula Abdul, you should go watch the iconic, of course, Straight Up music video, which of course has millions of views on YouTube. That's probably the song that people most resonate with her, relate to her with, is Straight Up. So you should also go watch that as well. So now we're going to play the interview from the residency at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino that I did with Paula Abdul back in October 2019. I'm Chris Shandeck for CY Interview. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below and like this video to keep up with everything we have going on here in Las Vegas and beyond. It means so much. Now, here's our CY Interview with Paul Abdul from 2019. I'm Chris Shandeck. I'll see you in the next one.
You're on CY Interview.
I'm Chris Shandeck. Today on CY Interview, we welcome the one and only Paula Abdul, who now has her own residency here at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Paula, thank you so much for being on CY Interview. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for interviewing me.
Oh, you're most welcome. So let's just start with this. When I saw the show last night, I felt that you were telling your life story through your show. Is that a fair statement?
Somewhat, yes. I wanted to make this show feel very personable. And I wanted people to leave with a better sense of knowing who I am, and to leave with a lot of inspiration and love and joy.
Okay, so looking forward to that, I think you're also reminding people about all of the things that you have contributed to entertainment over the last 40 years, whether it be TV, movies, dance, and music.
It does. I mean, I've been blessed and fortunate to have had so many different avenues and aspects of of celebrating a career in this industry. So I thought it was important for people to get to know a little bit more about me and how I became the performer and entertainer that I am.
You have also shown, watching this show last night, that you can still dance your tail off. So what is it like for you to know that you can get up in front of a stage and still do it and get applauses?
It's awesome. It's awesome, and it's surreal. You know, I'm more than twice their age, the rest of my dancers, so I'm like their mom in many ways. And a lot of these young dancers grew up watching videos of mine, or they're watching their parents, you know, become fans of mine through their families. And the fact that what I love about it is I have magnificent dancers, and I truly celebrate them in my show. And what I love about them is their appreciation, because they're saying there are no jobs where they get to dance like this, and you know that where they get to actually showcase all the years of their training and the different disciplines, that there aren't jobs that they get to do this. So they're extremely grateful, and I'm grateful. I have a really great group of people.
You talk about show business legend Gene Kelly in this show, and I sat there last night thinking to myself, obviously you have said in the past that he helped you believe that dreams can come true. But is there anything else that just stands out that you learned from him?
Well, we became close friends, and he would talk to me. We would talk like two dancers, just asking questions, and he'd ask me, what inspired you to do your Cold-Hearted Snake video? Like, and how did you pick the directors? That he'd ask me what inspires me. And you know, when I got a chance to do a Diet Coke campaign, he called me a Wiccan, because he said, when I first met him, I said, I hope there's one day where I can somehow be mentored by you. And I remember not 2 hours after I left his house the first time, he called me up and said, are you a Wiccan? Because I just got a call from Coca-Cola asking if I would be willing to lend my assets where we danced together. And I just had a feeling. I just had a feeling that would happen. And what was so cool is he said, I will be happy to let you use the estate of my choreography, but I want to train you. So I would go to his house, and he would train me. And I was replacing Frank Sinatra in the actual scene of the Diet Coke commercial that he's dancing. And he'd have a stick, and he'd go, no, Abdul, on the and count between 3 and 4, Frank Sinatra, would look to the left and look at me. And so he was coaching me, and it was the coolest thing. And like, I got a lot out of him, because I would invite him to come down when I was choreographing the Oscars. I had him come down. I didn't tell the producers of the Academy Awards or Billy Crystal, who was hosting, or my dancers, that he was coming, and I was going to have him critique what was going on. And when I tell you, some of the dancers fainted. Billy Crystal was like, oh my God. Just the fact that I had a mentor like that, the fact that I got to finally meet and work with someone that really is, from the beginning, the reason why I'm an entertainer.
2 more questions. When I say Paula Abdul, music icon and dance icon, what comes to mind?
That you're putting me in a elite category of people that I grew up like idolizing, like Anne Margaret's, like Shirley MacLaine's, like Judy Garland's, like Ann Miller, Sid Charisse. I mean, the list goes on. Those were my idols. I always felt like I was born in the wrong era, because I grew up really, really appreciating the MGM musical era, and that maybe I could be a contemporary artist that would really help bring that knowledge into my artistry. So
my producer, featured columnist Jay Bilstein, who hopefully we'll get to speak one day, maybe do a longer phone interview, would love to do that with you, wanted me to ask you one question. What was it like to have your bar mitzvah in Israel back in 2013 in Israel?
Well, the fact that I got to even celebrate a bat mitzvah at 50 years old was truly incredible. And I'd been studying with my rabbi, Chaim Mintz, at the Chabad of Bel Air, and when I was going to Israel, it was just like I hadn't taken a vacation in so long, and my rabbi couldn't come with me. However, he hooked me up with his associates, and I was going to do my bat mitzvah at the wall, but people started realizing that I was there, and got a little chaotic. So I celebrated my bat mitzvah in a little place called Tzvat, and it's like a jewel box. It looks like a fairy tale town. It's just incredible, and it was probably the most magical and mystical experiences of my life. So many incredible messages came through, and I was able to meet former President Shimon Peres and spend a day with him. It was my most favorite experience in my entire life. I can't wait to go back.
Come see Paul Abdul at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. Thank you so much for being on CY Interview. It's finally nice to have spoken with you.
Thank you so much, honey. Thank you.
For CY Interview, I'm Chris Yanda.